Ciao! Welcome again in my beautiful kitchen. Today's theme is going to be avant-garde. While ideas may appear strange and sometimes provocative at first, exploring new modes of expression that contrast with tradition and current taste can be incredibly effective and intriguing. In the next few minutes, I'm going to prepare 3 different recipes. The first one will be seasonability. In an age where meat, fish and vegetables are always available, you will learn how to rediscover the season and explore colors, texture and cooking techniques with an avant-garde approach. What about the recipe? Well, I'm going to prepare a twice cooked scallops, saffron beurre blanc, defibrated white asparagus and frozen sea Parmesan cheese. Let's discover how to do it. First step, let's start from the asparagus. We are going to take these beautiful white asparagus, peel them nicely, save the external part, so the skin, for later on for the next recipe, and process it into a vacuum bag, then cook it. Let's come together and see how it goes. Just a bit of olive oil, a pinch of salt, completely vacuum sealed and go straight in the oven. Automatic vacuuming program, vacuuming bag for cooking, and in a few seconds we are done. Second step, egg yolk. Using a strainer or something similar, we just pass it, creating a sort of super fluid yellowy liquid. We just add a bit of salt and we go straight into a sac à poche. We go directly into our vacuum sealer and we go straight in the oven, 51 degrees for 65 minutes. Step number 3, the corals of our scallops. As we all know, the majority of the time corals is taken away from the service of a beautiful seared scallop. What I'm going to do is to use them and simply mix them well together with some Parmesan cheese. So simply adding some grated Parmesan cheese, well laid down on top of a plate. Add my corals from the scallops. Again, fully covered. As if it was a sort of traditional panur, no? Just a layer of plastic film and directly into our blast chiller. Next step, scallops. Of course, we have our central and beautiful part of the scallop. I'm going to dry it out slightly, adding a bit of salt and again into another vacuum bag. Always at the same temperature, 51 degrees for more or less 10 to 15 minutes. This will give me the chance to pre-prepare my scallop, so stabilize all the juice and all the proteins, ready to go super fast into my sear pan later on for the second cooking. Last but not least, our sauce. So we're going to do a sort of beurre blanc contaminated by orange juice and a bit of saffron. Just a bit of olive oil, a good amount of shallots. We are going to roast them slightly. Later on, we are going to add white wine, orange juice, and of course, last but not least, some super cold butter. As soon as I have added the orange juice and the wine, I let them evaporate and reduce by half. And of course, I'm ready to go with my super cold butter cubes. As soon as I have achieved the right creaminess, I just add a bit of saffron. Remember, far away from the fire. Otherwise, you risk to lose all the beautiful perfume of the saffron itself. Golden yellow as I want, ready for receiving the asparagus. As I have said at the beginning, I was talking about defibrated. Why defibrated? Well, instead of cooking them in a traditional way in boiling water or with steam or into a vacuum bag at a high temperature close by 100 degrees, I'm going to cook them for an hour and 15 minutes at 51 degrees. For two reasons. First of all, because I'm cooking as well at the same time other ingredients with the same temperature. So I'm going to save energy using multiple products at the same time using a unique cooking system. Number two, because I'm not actually cooking my asparagus, but I'm just tenderizing the fibers. So in this case, the crunchiness will remain as if they were super fresh and just picked up from our field, but at the same time we will have the right consistency and texture at the palate as soon as we are going to bite them and digest. Just added inside my beurre blanc, again with asparagus and orange juice, and saffron. Glaze them for a few seconds and let them rest for a while. And now it's the time for taking away from the oven our scallops, chill down our egg yolk, and go straight into the plating part. Pan is hot and I'm ready to go to sear my scallops. Only one side. And here we are with all of the ingredients. So the mix and match of technology, the right elements, the respect to the single ingredients, and of course the cooking processes will give me the chance to create this beautiful plate. But come close and see how I'm going to do it. I start by plating our asparagus, adding some shallots in here and in there. Moving forward with our scallops. So just sliced down in few pieces, few drops of the egg yolk, some crunchy hazelnut, few pistils of dried red peppers, a pinch of smoked salt, and last but not least, our corals, frozen together with some Parmesan cheese. And here we are. Our first avant-garde course is here ready to go. And now let's move into the second course of our avant-garde experience. I have called this course Tar Art. Leftover risotto grissini with asparagus and carrots cappuccino. Ask yourself and ask your ingredients how you can help them, using knowledge and expertise to give a second life to your food. We will start from a leftover risotto that I have pre-prepared up front. So we are actually simulating what we can do with the residuals of a risotto that we have pre-prepared for another situation. And we are going to mix it together with some other ingredients. Into specifics, we are going to create a cream made of organic carrots that we are going to chop and simply boil with a bit of vinegar and a pinch of salt. Together with them, we are going to reuse the skins of the white asparagus we have used for the previous recipe. And last but not least, we are going to recreate a foam at the real end with some drops of the cooking boiling water that we have used for our carrots. Let's move into the practical part and come together with me for the cooking process. And now let's talk about our grissini. Yeah, grissini. Have you ever thought of doing and preparing grissini with a leftover risotto? Well, it's quite easy, simple, and super good. So, as I said, we start from our leftover risotto. In this case, a regular risotto that I have made with some tomato paste, some Parmesan cheese, and a lot of butter. I'm going to use this risotto, combine it with a bit of extra Parmesan cheese, finely grated, and just a bit of corn flour. All together into our Trinity Pro. Remember, don't use too much corn flour. We are going to use some more later on for garnishing our grissini before getting into the oven. With the scraper, we can easily see what's going inside. Rolling the scraper on top of the appliance, I'll have the possibility to see the final texture that I really want, just before piping it down into our non-stick tray. Few seconds of working of our Trinity Pro and the job is already done. A beautiful, smooth red paste that I'm going to pipe down on top of our non-stick U-pan tray and later on directly into the oven. With my piping bag, I'm ready to go and recreate the traditional shape of a long, thin grissini. As soon as your grissini are laid down, we go with a bit of extra corn flour and some salt flakes. Easy and simple. And now we are ready to go into the oven. For the first 5 minutes, I'm going to select 165 degrees, closed valve, and with a bit of humidity injected, just to recreate that sort of extra fluffiness on the outside. After 5 minutes, second phase, 145 degrees, open valved with the maximum speed of our ventilation, so level 7, to dry them out and recreate that beautiful crunchiness. And now let's move to the top of our cappuccino, so the cream. I'm going to heat up slightly some double cream, more or less 35% fat, together with some of the skins of the white asparagus we have used for the previous recipe and mixed together with the carrots for our carrot cream. As soon as the cream starts to boil, I can switch off the induction and let it rest. Just take and to let our skins to release all the flavor into our cream. Having then the sensation of eating really a piece of asparagus without actually having it into the plate. Carrots are ready, let's go to blend them. Start with a small amount of water, and in case you can add it afterwards. As soon as the carrots are perfectly blended, I'm going to add just a few drops of olive oil to give a bit of transparency and shyness to the liquid. Intense aroma and wonderful color. 5 minutes left before the end of our grissini, and we are ready to go for straining our cream and create that wonderful foam of our cappuccino. With the power of our blender, we are going to recreate a lot of air in between the liquid and the top, creating that beautiful foam that we usually are used on seeing in front of a beautiful cappuccino. We start slow, and through this we can accelerate and go up and up and up bit by bit. Time for plating. I'm going to decorate our plate and give a bit of a special hint with some edible mixed flowers, and the job is done. And this was Art, the second course of our avant-garde experience. And here we are with the final part of our appointment. We have been talking of multiple recipes, multiple preparation and concepts. Of course, we need to end up with a beautiful dessert. The recipe has been called the Zen Garden. As we probably all know, Zen comes from a Japanese concept that is recalling to another word from the Sanskrit, actually dhyana, that means vision. In this plate, I have tried to recall some of my trips to Japan and some spaces in my mind that brings me back over there, imagining colors, texture, and of course flavor. This Zen garden will be in between licorice, basil, and mint. Preparation is a mix of few different ingredients that I have pre-prepared up front, and today I'm just going to finishing them up and then plate them. In specifics, the base of a parfait, so a mix and match of sugar, egg yolk, double cream, that I have nicely cooked and pasteurized sous vide using the oven and 85 degrees steam for half an hour, more or less, depending on the quantity you have into the bag. Together with that, few different preps using a special cycle called dehydration. This green powder is actually a mix of basil and mint that has been first cooked with steam, then chilled down, and then dehydrated at 45 degrees for 2 days. Over this, some sesame seeds that have been seasoned with a bit of salt, then licorice, and a hint of soy sauce, and then dehydrated too at 50 degrees for more or less 8 hours. Some fresh mint, a nice sauce, a sort of glaze made of honey, licorice powder, a bit of Maldon salt, and a pinch of regular salt. And last but not least, our crumble. A traditional crumble made of sugar, flour, butter, and of course, granulated brown sugar at the real end before grinding them up. So, what are we going to do and how are we going to process with this recipe? First of all, I'm going to fry some basil leaves. At the same time, I'm going to finish up our sauce. Through the usage of our stand mixer 5 liter, I'm going to slightly mix and whip this parfait base, and later on I will move that base into our silicone mold and straight into the blast chiller at -41 to have it ready for plating. So a lot of different preparation coming up from other different preparation too that will bring this plate to be fantastic. Mixing technologies and accessories to turn crazy into a patisserie concept. Come together with me and let's cook together the last plate, the Zen garden. And now let's whip this parfait base. As I was saying, a mix of few different ingredients: egg yolk, sugar, double cream. What is important is the amount of mixing and the way you mix. Thanks to this 5 liter bowl and this wonderful whisk, we will have the possibility to incorporate the right amount of air, and through the selection position on the right part, decide how much whipped we want it. Remember, as soon as you start with some base containing egg yolk and double cream, start first very slow, and as soon as you start incorporating the air thanks to the mixing of the whisk, of course, go a bit by bit up. Speed number 3 for 30 to 40 seconds, and then to the max, the number 12, for a fast and rapid whipping process. As soon as our base starts to become a bit thick, stop immediately. It has to be slightly liquid, not too much, but not too thick. And then, as said, directly into our blast chiller at -41. A gentle movement on top of the tabletop just to erase the residuals of oxygen and air bubbles into our mold. From the automatic environment, I select manual. I go to X-freeze, -41 degrees, and I press the play. Easily start, and the game is done. Less than 25 minutes to obtain our completely frozen cube made of our parfait. This is going to go directly into our crumble and stay in there for a few seconds. In the meantime, we are completing the rest of the plating. Let's start from our licorice and honey sauce. It doesn't have to be so precise because we are going to do a sort of a game. So with our fingers, we are going to slightly move the sauce in here and in there, creating a sort of irregular shape. Looks like a bit of a chaos, but in a few seconds it will make sense. As soon as you have done this and obtained this, we start from adding the rest of the ingredients. In here and in there, some of the mint and basil dehydrated. Afterwards, our soy dehydrated sesame seeds, a pinch of salt, and nicely we do a sort of caress around the whole plate. These will bring irregularly the different amount of ingredients in here and in there, randomly. After a few seconds, we're going to do this, and automatically we will end up with a sort of design on the bottom. Let's position our parfait on the top. Let's decor with our fried basil leaves that I have slightly seasoned with a bit of Maldon salt. And the last one in here. I can already feel a sort of internal peace. We end up on top with a bit of extra mint and basil powder. Gloves away, and our plate is done. So we have started with the idea of avant-garde. Quite strange, weird and challenging concept actually. But discovering the menu, so the 3 different items we have been passing through, we can easily understand how we can work, how we can live our environment, our kitchen, with a future prospect working with season, colors and texture. We have started working with yellow, orange and white. After that we moved to an intensified orangey color with an extreme white palette and some red, moving back to the green and the zen mood with this beautiful dessert. What else? Well, this is just an example of how easy can be work into a kitchen when you have the right appliance, the right knowledge and expertise, and of course, a lot of creativity. And this is AVANT-GARDE. I hope you have enjoyed it. See you the next time. Ciao!